Hello everyone, Vivian is back with a whole new series, which is Talk to the V. So the aim of this new series is to provide you guys, the fresh graduates or the students who are still concerning about your career orientation and professional development, the answers for all of your questions. And in this series, I will invite different guest speakers from different industries to provide you the important information, and I guess that it would help you a lot. Okay, so in the first episode, I'm really honored to invite Mr. Rich, which is the COO of NFQ Asia. He will have some sharing with us today. Hello.
Hi.
Okay. First question I will ask you is, of course, introduce a little bit about yourself.
Okay, thanks for inviting me. I'm really happy to be here. So I guess I'll try to do a brief introduction.
Yeah.
I was born in Ho Chi Minh City, but my family moved away and I went to school in the US. High school, undergrad, business school. And after that, I was fortunate enough to be able to work in the US, in Japan, in Thailand, and finally Vietnam. So I think through that experience, I have different cultures that I had to work in. But in addition, the types of businesses that I've worked in has also been very interesting. So I've started, I was the first person for Coca-Cola in Vietnam back in '95. So I guess in that sense, it was a startup. Yeah. And then I've started another company since then, and now I'm with NFQ, which is a startup 5 years old.
Wow, and it's just 5 years old and it can grow big like this. It has a very big office, beautiful, right in the center of District 1. It's
yes,
great.
Thank you. Yeah, I think our founder and the two founders have done a great job in growing NFQ from, a very small startup with only a few people to now we have over 220 people in 3 offices across Asia. One in Ho Chi Minh, one in Da Nang, and one in Bangkok.
Okay. So what exactly the industry that NFQ is joining?
We are in the software development business. We outsource developers to our clients. As you may know, and it's probably a good tip for all of your audience, is that in the world today, it is very, very difficult to find developers. Yeah. So developers in America or in Europe or basically everywhere in the modern world, there aren't enough developers for all the things that you need to do. I'm sure everyone owns a smartphone. If you just look on your phone, all those apps need constant updating. Every time you go shopping, there's a certain process involved. All of those require some type of a programming to make it work smoothly. And there just aren't enough developers to ensure that process works smoothly. So at NFQ, our business is that we hire developers, we train them, and we provide them space to work. And then our clients, who are mostly European-based or US-based, then taps into our network of developers as their own developers to help enhance their business.
Great. So it's really interesting of you sharing about how your business run, and there's something really familiar to us now as the interview is conducted after the government announced that we stopped the social distancing. So as the COVID-19 passed by, what were the strategies that you used as a COO to help your business conquer these hardships?
Well, first and foremost, what I would recommend to anyone, not just in our business, is to take care of people. Right? But more important for us, because we are a people business, our product is what comes from our developers. So we don't have, something that you can physically go and buy in a store. So the first thing we did is to ensure that our employees and their families are safe. I remember back way before the government announced social distancing, we had a case where one of our one of the wives of our developer might have been in contact with an F1. And immediately we, cleaned the office, sprayed the office, allowed people to work from home, and, started to talk about being careful, hand washing, social distancing, and all that. Because that's really the core of our business. We really care about our employees. And so when the final official social distancing came about, we were already doing it. So I think what I would say to anyone in a position of running their own company is, if you take care of your employees, then your customers and everything else will flow from there.
Which means that we have to take care of our core values, and our core values is human, right? Our human resources.
Yes, but not all companies place humans as a core value.
But your does, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay. And another related question is, what opportunities do you see in like every difficulty, not only in COVID-19 pandemic?
So I think what most people fail to realize is that everyone and every business and every process within the business can be improved. There is no perfect process or perfect business. And if you're open to that, then you are always looking for ways to make it better, always looking for ways to tweak it. And that's really important, because it means that you're not complacent, that you're always trying to do things better, because there's always somebody out there, your competitors, who are trying to build a better mousetrap than you. And a way for you to raise barriers to entry to your competitors is to always be open-minded and improve. In particular to COVID-19, I think everybody is wishing that things will get back to normal.
Yes.
And I think things will get back to normal eventually, I hope. But the normal is not going to be the old normal. It's going to be a new set of normal. And everyone needs to adjust their business for that. So for example, let me say, for myself, and I think all of us, we still brush our teeth in the morning, we still shower, use soap, wash our clothes, we still need to eat, we still need to drink, we still consume products, etc., right? So all of that basic human need doesn't change. What does change is how we get our toothpaste and wash our clothes, or get detergents, or go out. And businesses that understand that and adapt to a new way of delivering products to me and you is going to be the one that is more successful. Because I think going back to the old, if they're sticking with their own business model and going back to the hoping that it goes back to normal as before COVID-19, I don't think that's going to happen. I think we are going to vacation differently. I think we're going to fly differently. I think we're going to, buy our shampoo differently. So yeah, business that adapt to it will survive.
Which means, like, in the crisis, if we find the light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Yeah.
We may survive and even thrive after the crisis.
Yeah, before 9/11, I was going to the airport 30 minutes before my flight and running to the gate. After that, it's the new normal is different. You now have to go through security lines.
Yeah.
You can't bring liquids. Gone are the
more
days.
Procedures. Right?
Well, yeah, it's just different. Now it's the new normal.
Yeah.
Is to go through security, and you can't bring liquids on board, etc. So I think post COVID-19, if there is a post, the new normal will be different, and businesses have to change to it.
So adaptability, or we normally say improvisation, is like very important for every business, right?
Yeah, I think not improvisation, but the desire to always improve.
Great. Yeah, it's very useful advice for the business, especially the newly established business.
Yes, well, fortunately, in newly established businesses, there is no normal. So people are always looking to do it correctly the first time. So that's just perfect.
Yeah. Previously, you mentioned about human resources management. So with your experience, like 20 or 30 years, right?
25 years in Vietnam.
25
just
years.
In Vietnam.
So with a lot of experience like that, and for the Vietnam market only, what are the strengths and weaknesses do you see in the fresh graduates, people who want to apply in the multinational corporations?
Okay, so this is a difficult question because I think all managers have a different expectation of employees. And I would just say in general, so I've been working in Vietnam for 25 years. I've done 2 startups and turned around 1 company, and now I'm at NFQ. What I really look for is I really look for the enthusiasm and the fit. So to give you an example, and I've made a lot of mistakes when I was younger. I've hired people based on their CV and what they have accomplished. But if those people who come to your company, they're not enthusiastic about work, then they're not really giving all their best. And therefore that's going to affect all the other employees as well. So what I really look for is someone who is qualified, but is really hungry and really wants to make their mark and make a change with the company. And those are the kind of people that brings the energy and enthusiasm to your workplace that inspire everyone else to work harder and better. So if I were to give any advice to the new graduates, is to really be enthusiastic in your interviews. Don't believe that your CV, your qualification, where you went to school and the grades you get is going to get you a job, because there are no grades in jobs, right? The only grades are you get a paycheck the next month or you get fired. There's no in-between grades. So keep your job by doing it better. Be hungry.
So what are the strengths that you see like Vietnamese candidates have?
I think Vietnamese candidates aren't any different than any other candidates. I mean, people are people. You're going to get good people, you're going to get bad people. And the nice thing about Vietnam in general is that everybody wants to improve and learn. And I think that's really, really a great trait. Because when you want to learn, it means that you want to improve. Yeah, and I think that's great.
I'm also a youngster, and I'm trying to like learn on a daily basis from great people like you.
Okay, who's that?
Okay, so let's move to a new topic, which is about the newly established enterprise. Okay, so I want to ask you that as a COO, what are some strategies that you have for a startup to optimize their cost? At first,
Sure. So what I think is really important is to understand what is your core business, right? So for example, if you are Coca-Cola, your core business is marketing and distribution. So I can say this because I started Coca-Cola in Vietnam. I was the first guy in Vietnam for Coke back in '95. And when you start a business like that, if your core is marketing, which is getting to people to know your business and getting your product into people's hands, which is distribution, then everything else is secondary, right? HR, finance, systems, all of that is secondary. So if you're going to save costs anywhere, you're going to save costs in the functional areas that is not core to your business. Here at NFQ, as I mentioned before, we are in the people business because we have people, we take care of developers so that they can do a really good job for our clients in Europe, right? So our core business is people. So we spend a lot of money to make sure that our employees are happy and productive. You've mentioned before, I think beginning, we have nice offices. We're in Vincom, right in the center of town. We have really good space for our people. We do a lot of events, such as inviting you to come and do a TED Talk so our employees can learn. So we don't cut costs when it comes to making our employees happy, productive, and learning. But everywhere else we can cut costs. So if I were to, so I think the answer to your question is, in different industries, there are different ways to optimize your dollars, depending on what is your core business. So everything else outside of your core, if you only have limited amount of money, and we all do, I would save costs on the non-essential parts.
Great. So the best way or the tactic to save costs is like to identify what is your core value, right? Like the core business.
Your core business. Yeah.
Core business. Okay. On the TV shows, we have watched Shark Tank, right?
Yeah.
And there are many newly established business as well as startups want to, call for investment, but they don't know how, right? So can you share some tips or like the way to approach and persuade the investors to pour the money into the startup, right? In each stage specifically.
Okay, I'll be happy to. So, I actually have never had to go before a Shark Tank or get investors. However, in my previous jobs, every year I've had to go before the CEO of the company. So I had to go before the CEO of Coca-Cola, CEO of Danone, to present my business plan for the year. And within that, to get resources and money, or basically approval to spend that money, right? So I think it's very similar to presenting to investors and getting them to agree that what you're doing is right. And I think what's important is you have to have a sound business plan, which means you have to think about who you're selling to, what you're selling, your communication, and your human resource needs. And you also, because everybody has a very rosy plan, you also have to have some contingency in there. If this happens, you can quickly pivot and do something else. So having a well thought out plan of what you're going to do within the next 12, 24 months is very, very important. Secondarily, I think, because anyone can make a nice PowerPoint file, I think what a lot of people look for is they're looking for passion and enthusiasm, especially if you're an entrepreneur. Why would I give you money if you don't really believe in what you're doing? If you're not really passionate about it, I'm not going to give you money. And it's only because, in a startup, there's going to be a lot of disappointments. Let's face it, right? Not everything works out according to plan.
I understand.
And if you don't have the passion to power through the hardship, you're going to lose money for the investors. So I would say two things: well thought out plan and a lot of passion and enthusiasm. Because if you have those two, a lot of people are more willing to believe in you. And that's what they're doing. They're believing in you. They're believing in you to make your pitch successful. Because the pitch, anyone can do the pitch. They can take that idea and give it to someone else. But when people are giving you money, they're believing in you.
Great. Yeah, so passion and enthusiasm are the two keywords that you emphasize.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that is also the last question of our interview today. And I think that with those precious advice and also with the very enthusiastic sharings from Mr. Rich, a lot of you guys who are fresh graduates will know how to improve yourself in your professional career development. And for those who want to establish the startup or work for the MNCs, will gain some insights about the industry and also to, of course, expand your network and develop yourself. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Rich, for joining me today.
My pleasure.
Okay, and I hope that I will see you in the next projects if we can.
Terrific.
Thank you.
Bye. Good luck.